What's going on, world? You're tuned into the Down Money Show. When you're talking real estate, you're talking money down, you're talking down money. And I'm your host, who always does the most for the city of Philadelphia, Ransford, Renaldo Quarry. Today, I got a company that plants thousands of trees, puts on Philadelphia's flower show, and supports community gardens all over the city. Matthew Rader, president of the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. Matthew, how you doing today, man?
Thank you for being here. Really glad to be with you. Excited to talk about plants.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. So tell me a little bit about the Horticultural Society. Did I say that correctly?
You got it. So we go by PHS for short, so that's easier. Horticultural Society started back in 1827, so we're almost 200 years old. And what we do is use gardening, which is what horticulture is, to make this region a healthier place to live. So trying to create nice, safe, clean, beautiful neighborhoods for people, helping people connect to each other through social connections, helping people grow fresh food, and helping create jobs and business opportunity. And gardening is a good way to do all of that, and it's happening all over Philadelphia and suburban counties.
Great. So tell me about your background specifically.
So I'm spent my career trying to make cities better. I love historic buildings, I love historic places, and I love living in them.
Philadelphia is definitely the right place for
Philadelphia is a good
buildings.
place. All of our neighborhoods are, at this point, historic in some ways.
Yeah, beautiful real estate too.
Beautiful buildings, beautiful streets, beautiful institutions. So I spent some time working in the park system. I spent some time doing commercial district revitalization in South Philly on East Passyunk Avenue. Then came to PHS about in 2016 to help lead this organization, which really makes a material improvement in quality of life across the city.
Nice. So you said parks and recreations.
So my first jobs in Philadelphia were in the Fairmount Park system. Before parks and recreation were merged as one department, and I worked out in West Fairmount Park, and I worked on historic buildings and landscapes all over the city, and really got to know the city that way, because I'd get sent to, a park in Olney or a park in the Northeast or a park in North Philly, and get to go just see what's there and meet the people and get a sense of different neighborhoods and places.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So I love the show Parks and Rec.
Oh, yeah.
So when you said that, that just clicked in my mind. I'm like, this is the guy that's doing those things.
The reality is almost as much fun as the show.
That's great to hear. How many years have you been with PHS?
This is my 9th year. So I came here back in January 2016.
What projects have you been a part of that have really helped you grow as a person?
So one of the biggest things that we did was in 2018, 2019, we invited lots of people, thousands and thousands of people, to help us imagine what PHS should do next. So we had this amazing history. We worked in lots of neighborhoods. We had the world's best flower show, and certainly the country's best, the world's best in our mind. But we really said, Philadelphia needs ever more creativity, more beauty, more economic opportunity. So what are we going to do next? What's the next step? And we did a project called Vision 2027 to invite people to help us imagine what that would be. And we put together a big vision and strategic plan, and then we went about doing it. And so some of the most exciting projects that have come out of that, one is the Love Where You Live project up in Nicetown and Tioga in North Philadelphia, where we've been working in support of local residents to imagine how to use greening to change everything that they want to change about their neighborhood. Trash, litter, job opportunity, safety, etc. And we've really fundraised and built out a program to support their aspirations. I've also seen us really grow how many trees we plant. So we work with volunteer groups called tree tenders in neighborhoods around the city and suburbs. And we've almost doubled the number of trees we plant each year. And then last year, with the Parks and Recreation Department as a partner, went after a big federal grant to really significantly increase tree planting in the city. So excited about that leadership.
That's amazing.
And then a project we didn't plan on was the Philadelphia Flower Show. Going into COVID became an outdoor event for 2 years, which was a whole reinvention of something with almost a 200-year history that's always been indoors.
That's
and we
insane.
made a huge outdoor event, and we did it, from working remotely in attics and basements.
So I didn't know that you guys went outdoors. What was that like? And
it was amazing. So, as COVID actually arrived while the flower show was happening in 2020. And so a week after the flower show closed, we had all gone home, right? those of us who are working remotely. And about a month into it, we said, oh my gosh, like we can't plan an indoor flower show for 2021. Like it's not going to happen. So we challenged ourselves for what to do. And, two choices. One was don't do anything. The other was reinvent it as something outdoors that could probably work in COVID. And so we took that path. We produced a full scale Philadelphia flower show in FDR Park in South Philadelphia, and just created this extraordinary experience that existed for 2 years and now feels like that sort of B-side cult classic. Like anybody who was there remembers it, and it was magic, and it will never happen again.
Never.
Who knows? Maybe other outdoor events. We've definitely brought the show back indoors. We brought it back to its roots, and we keep imagining other possibilities. But those shows will be a special moment for anybody who was there.
The flower and the setups you have at the show, amazing. A lot of colors, just like the displays, how you guys put them together. Who comes up with that?
So I say it's a group project that turns out well, right? There's not a lot of those in the world. So in the flower show, which is almost 11 acres indoors, you have thousands and thousands of people creating stuff. You have high school kids from Saul creating an exhibit in the back. You have professional florists and landscape designers from around here all the way to Singapore, New York, etc., presenting in the show. You have individuals bringing their best plants and flower arrangements and putting them in the show. So our job is to curate and gather all that talent. So we go out in the world, we try to meet with anybody who's making waves with horticulture and invite them into the Philadelphia Flower Show. And then our job is to showcase them and support them and share them with the public.
Wow, that is insane. I had no idea it was that much collaboration that went into it. And for those who don't know, how would someone get involved? Like, how can they say, come see me, I'm doing something cool?
So go to phsonline.org. And if you're wanting to enter as an individual because you grow orchids or plants at home that you want to share, it's pretty easy to figure out how to do it. If you're a professional, there's contact information, and you write to us and our team will start a conversation. And it's a process, right? We want to make sure we have top quality. We're looking for designers that also share our ethic of using horticulture to advance social and environmental health and embrace an inclusive view of horticultural tradition and design. So we're looking for best of the best, because the flower show is the nation's best event of its ilk and one of the top 5 in the world. And we want to make sure that what we're showing is great. The flip side of that that's super cool is we're able to find new talent, and the flower show helps them find voice in national and global awareness. And there's been some exhibitors in recent years like Wamboya Polito in 2021 who won Best in Show, Black Girl Florist Collective, Tisa Rose Florist, Kelly Norris this year. All of these amazing horticulturists who are super talented, and then they hit the flower show, and then that catapults them into an even greater awareness, which for us is an important part of the puzzle.
Very cool, man. Top 5. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? That's Philadelphia.
It's like one of those Philly treasures. Like everybody thinks, well, everybody's got one. Like they don't.
No.
Everybody has, most cities have a home show, which is very different. The flower show is, these are best of the best. They're paid. We go in and support the exhibit so that you get top quality. And for us, our peers are a couple shows in England, which has a long horticultural tradition, and then the Singapore Flower and Garden Show. And we work together pretty closely with those collaborators. This is a Philly treasure that we think of as just the down the block, right?
Nice. Yeah, that's always Philadelphia.
Yeah,
that's always Philadelphia. So you personally, do you know how to grow anything?
I do. I am an amateur horticulturist. I'm not a pro by any means. I have a small garden at home, and
what's in it?
Right now, the camellias are finishing, so they bloomed early in the season. The clematis is growing, and I don't have a lot of sun, so I'm not really able to grow a lot of flowering stuff, but I have some bulbs that are struggling to life. And it's a fun
struggling
part of
to life. That's everybody who plants.
Yeah, exactly. And so everything is coming up, mostly a perennial garden. I try to lean heavy into that. And this is the second year for a big replanting I did. So I'm kind of eager to see what happens this year and then go in and fine tune from there.
Cool.
Sort of like cool. editing audio, right?
Yeah, right. For sure. You mentioned something earlier, job opportunities, which is huge in today's world. talk to me about how many opportunities you guys create and like what that looks like.
So people in Philly don't always think about working in green industries, right? Like we're a concrete and asphalt brick place.
Well, we do got a lot of green in Philly.
We sure do, and more of it because of us. But I think people's eyes can be open when you say, there's a lot of jobs working with plants. And they're all levels of job, from entry-level landscaping jobs all the way to plant science and plant breeding and research and business. So what we want to do is help people discover those jobs. And we specifically work to train people to access landscaping jobs. And we work with people who have not often found formal employment yet in their life. And so we do paid training. We help them build a resume, conflict resolution, some social work support to help figure out other things that they may need to be successful at work. And then we place more than 90% of them with contractors who work with us, cleaning and greening vacant lots around the city, as well as tree care companies. So we'll train about 120 people this year, and we'll employ about 300 cleaning and greening vacant lots around the city throughout the season. And then those people are being employed by small businesses that we contract with, so neighborhood-based businesses and nonprofits. There's 36 of them, more than half are Black or Brown led, and this program is an opportunity for them to build their business in an environment where they can work with a supportive team and then go out in the market and bid for other landscaping work, etc.
Now, last question, because after all that, like clearly you guys have a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah.
What's next? Like events, initiatives, like how do people really get involved with this? Because greening Philadelphia, greenifying the US in its whole, like that's where we need to be.
So this is gardening season.
Yeah.
Good time of year. Things start to come to life. There's a couple things you can do. The easiest thing is to become a PHS member. So you can go on our website, and just by joining and supporting, you are making it possible for Philadelphia to have trees, 180 community gardens, job training, everything that we've talked about. And that's a way of lending your support to that cause. Second is volunteering. So on our website, you can find lots of ways to join up as a tree tender, which are groups in your neighborhood that plant and care for trees. We'll plant about 1,500 trees next week, which is amazing, all over the region. That happens twice a year. You could also get involved in a local community garden. You can volunteer at the flower show. There's tons of opportunities. And then for those who are just looking for fun or learning, go out to one of our gardens. So go visit one of our pop-up gardens or Meadowbrook Farm. On our website, you can find a whole calendar of events. There's everything from meeting with brewers and beer makers to learning how to arrange flowers or do press plants or do composting at home. And at our pop-up gardens, you could also just sit back and enjoy a drink and some food and hang out in a beautiful garden with your friends.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
Hang
out in the garden.
Totally.
Now, the question that's on everybody's mind, if you were a tree tender, do you get a complimentary ladder?
Oh, that's an interesting question. No,
no ladders?
Can't even imagine the liability issues that would be created. But tree tenders do pruning clubs. Mm-hmm. So when the trees are young, tree tenders go out in their neighborhood and they prune. And you would be amazed at the ownership that people take of new trees. I was with a colleague last night who lives in Hunting Park, and she was saying as the trees were planted, like people put in cameras, people track license plates, people called the cops if somebody pruned a branch without telling her, because it becomes
that's their baby
something
now.
Of pride. Yeah, and it's vulnerable. It's out there in the street, and you want to make sure it stays healthy and cared for.
Wow, tree police on the loose in Philadelphia.
There's a great story years ago of a person who was a tree tender who was pruning a tree somewhere in the Northeast, and a cop pulled over, and they were like, "What's going on?" And the cop got on and said, "Show me your tree tender card."
The tree tender card.
They have a card.
Do they laminate it?
This cop was like, "You're pruning a tree. I want to see that this is legit."
And it's not like a laminated like throwback COVID card.
It's of that ilk. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's hilarious. Well, thank you for taking the time to connect with us. Great speaking with you. Hey, Philadelphia, As you know, you could always tune into the Down Money Show, where if you're talking real estate, you're talking money down, you're talking down money. You're also talking sustainability and greening the world with PHS.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Cool.
And we're out. That's it.
All right. Thank you. That was
Yeah,
really
man.
fun. Good to chat with you.
Yeah, definitely.